Right now, somewhere near you, a flower is listening. Not listening like a poem. Listening like an ear. Detecting sound. Reacting in seconds. Rewriting its own chemistry because something flew past. And right now, on a seafloor somewhere, an animal with no brain is taking a nap. No eyes. No heart. No spine. Yet it has slept every night for 550 million years, for almost the exact reason you need yours. These aren't scenes from a sci-fi script. They're real experiments, in real labs, published in the world's top journals. And together they break a rule you've believed your whole life, that you need a brain to be smart. Because here's the thing. Nature has been running experiments far longer than we have. Billions of years longer. And the answers it found don't look anything like ours. Welcome to Simplified for you. 2 discoveries. 1 huge idea. 0 boredom. If your brain just leaned in, hit subscribe. We do this every single week. A beach near Tel Aviv. Evening. Wild yellow flowers, evening primroses, leaning in the salty breeze. A bee drifts closer. And the flower hears it coming. Within 3 minutes, it pumps extra sugar into its nectar. It's rolling out a welcome mat for a guest it heard arriving. Sit with that. A flower. Heard a bee. And answered. This came from Dr. Lilach Hadany's team at Tel Aviv University, published in Ecology Letters in 2019. Her question was almost annoyingly simple. Sound is everywhere in nature, and animals use it non-stop. So why would plants just ignore it? So they tested it. Evening primroses. 5 conditions. Total silence. A real recording of a bee buzzing a few centimeters away. And 3 computer tones, low, medium, and high. The results were sharp. Silence. No change. High tones. Nothing. Medium tones. Nothing. But the bee's frequency, a low hum around 0.2 to 0.5 kilohertz, flipped a switch. Nectar sugar leapt from roughly 12 to 17% up to 20%. In under 3 minutes. Think about how specific that is. The flower didn't react to just any noise. It ignored everything except the one sound that actually matters to its survival, the wing beat of the insect that carries its pollen. That's not random. That's a filter, tuned by evolution. Here's the trick. The petal itself vibrates when the bee's pitch passes through it. That curved, bowl-like shape works like a tiny satellite dish, tuned to one signal. Scientists measured the shaking, it matched a bee's wing beat almost perfectly. So the petal isn't wired to an ear. The petal is the ear. No eardrum. No brain. No nerves. Just shape, chemistry, and 500 million years of practice. And the logic is pure survival. Nectar is expensive to make, why waste it on an empty garden? But the second a bee shows up, sweeter nectar means a happier visitor, more pollen moved, more seeds, more baby flowers. The plant is running the numbers, live. This one finding cracked open a whole new field, plant bioacoustics. And once scientists started listening, the discoveries kept coming. In Australia, Dr. Monica Gagliano found plant roots grow toward the sound of running water, before they can even chemically detect the moisture. They use sound like a compass. At the University of Missouri, Heidi Appel and Rex Cocroft played a plant the recorded sound of a caterpillar chewing. Untouched, the plant started cranking out defense chemicals. It was eavesdropping on its own attacker. And about 20,000 plant species use buzz pollination. A bee hits exactly the right frequency, and the flower releases its pollen. A sound-activated lock and key, tuned over millions of years. Quick honesty check, because real science never oversells. A 2024 review warned that plants probably don't adhere across long distances the way we do, and some claims are still being tested. But the close-range vibration responses, the bee and nectar one especially, are solid and peer-reviewed. The story is real. It's just still being written. We picture plants as silent and passive. They're anything but sensing, deciding, defending. No brain. Definitely not dumb. From land to sea. From a flower with no ears to an animal with no brain. And a question that's even weirder. Why do you sleep? Easy answer: to rest, to recharge, to lock in memories. All true. But here's the part that should mess with you: what if the real reason has nothing to do with having a mind at all? On a warm, shallow seafloor, something lies upside down. Its dome flat on the sand. Its tentacles reaching up toward the light. Barely moving. No brain. No heart. No blood. No spine. Older than the dinosaurs by hundreds of millions of years. This is Cassiopeia, the upside-down jellyfish. And every night, it goes to sleep. Hear that again. A creature with no brain that sleeps. In 2017, scientists at Caltech proved it wasn't just lying still. To call something asleep, you have to tick 3 boxes. 1. It slows down, but can snap awake fast. 2. It reacts more slowly while resting. 3. The big one: if you keep it awake, it sleeps extra later to catch up. Sleep debt. Cassiopeia ticked all 3. At night, it's pulsing. How it pushes water through to feed and breathe dropped from about 58 pulses a minute to 29. It got sluggish to react. And when scientists kept it awake by disturbing the water, it slept more the next day. The same rebound you feel after an all-nighter. Sleep didn't need a brain. Sleep came first. And that flips the whole question. We always asked, why did brains invent sleep? But if a brainless jellyfish already sleeps, the real question becomes, what is sleep actually for, deep down, before brains were ever in the picture? So why would a brainless animal need sleep at all? The usual answers: memory, hormones, brain cleanup, all require a complex brain. None of them explain a napping jellyfish. In January 2026, teams at Bar-Ilan University and Tel Aviv University, led by Professor Lior Applebaum and Professor Yuval Nir, published a jaw-dropper in Nature Communications. Sleep's deepest job may be repairing DNA. Here's the simple version. Every time a nerve cell fires, just being awake causes tiny breaks in its DNA, microscopic wear and tear. All day, those breaks pile up. Leave them, and cells get damaged, and eventually die. Sleep is the repair window. The scientists stained the nerve cells of jellyfish and sea anemones and watched it happen. DNA breaks peaked at the end of the active day, then dropped sharply after rest. Keep the animals awake, and the breaks climbed, and they slept longer afterward to fix the damage. Then the wild part, they shone UV light on the jellyfish. UV is known to damage DNA, and the animal's sleep shot up within hours. More damage in, more sleep out. Read that as a rule: the more wear your cells take, the more rest they demand. The jellyfish isn't choosing to sleep. Its body is forcing it to, because the repair simply has to happen, or the cell breaks down. Sleep isn't lazy. It's a repair crew, a night shift that's been clocking in inside nerve cells since before brains even existed. One more twist, and it's almost poetic. You've heard of melatonin, the hormone your body makes as it gets dark, the one in those jet lag pills. Everyone assumed melatonin only teamed up with sleep once big, complex brains showed up. Then the team dropped melatonin into the jellyfish tank. The jellyfish fell asleep right in the middle of their active hours. The same signal nudging you to put your phone down at midnight has been switching off brainless sea creatures for 500 million years. Evolution found a brilliant solution and simply never let it go. Next time you pull an all-nighter before an exam, you're not just tired. You're stacking up actual DNA damage in your nerve cells, and only sleep can clear it. It also hints at why bad sleep, insomnia, sleep apnea, broken nights, might do long-term harm, not just an unrest brain, but neurons whose DNA never gets properly fixed. It may be part of why scientists keep linking poor sleep to brain disease. And the biggest idea of all, needing sleep isn't some fancy upgrade for big-brained animals. It's one of the oldest rules of being alive, written back when our ancestors were just a loose net of cells drifting in an ancient sea. So what does a listening flower share with a sleeping jellyfish? Both smash the same myth, that being smart, aware, and good at surviving belongs only to things with brains. It doesn't. A flower doesn't need a nervous system to read its world, just the right shape, the right chemistry, and a few 100 million years of practice. A jellyfish doesn't need a brain to know it must rest, just neurons, and the ancient job of keeping them alive. We love bragging about human intelligence. Our cities, our machines, our art. But maybe the most jaw-dropping intelligence on Earth is quiet, invisible, and far older than us, in the ocean, in the soil, and in the garden right outside your window. Next time you pass a flower, stop for 1 second. Listen for bees. The flower already is. That's the world, simplified. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of curious mind this channel is built for. So let's make it official. Subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a week. Like this video, it genuinely pushes us to more curious people like you. Comment one word, which one broke your brain more, the flower that hears, or the jellyfish that sleeps? And if you're new here, stick around. Next week, we simplify another piece of the world that'll change how you see it. See you in the next one.